Right, so welcome back to another episode of Put the Phone Down. We're with Nicky Jones, the big man himself, Mr. Fitbox. How's it going? You all right?
Good, man. No,
yeah?
good.
So basically, the reason why I wanted to get you on, because you've got quite an interesting story, and obviously it's I think it's quite an inspirational one. You might think it, you might not, I don't know, but it's kind of just like kind of getting an understanding of who you are, what you're currently doing, how you got to where you got. So, like, tell me a bit about yourself. I know, obviously, you're a good friend of mine, but imagine you're talking to someone who's never met you before.
I don't know. I in terms of business, you mean, or in terms of
just
personal,
everything,
or,
personal, like.
Well, obviously, I know you've known me since I was younger, but I think when I was young, when I was like 8 years old, obviously I got alopecia and things like that. So obviously I've had no hair for 20 years now. 20 years. But for right tough as a kid. But, I'm not one to go on about it anymore. But when I was younger, it was hard and it was tough. And, I guess it kind of, your life takes a twist from it because it's quite a obvious physical thing.
Yeah.
No health danger, nothing like that. It's just tough when you're younger because it looks unnatural. It looks strange. Not a lot of people know what it is as well.
What was the reason? How did you get what? I don't understand. I've never really asked the question of how you got it.
No, it's a stress thing. So there's two ways you can get it. You can get it through physical stress. You can get it through emotional stress. And obviously, as a kid, I didn't have a lot of emotional stress. But there was something that happened when I was I think when I was like 7, and I had a bit of like a dental operation gone wrong, basically.
Right.
They couldn't really explain it, but whatever it was, whether it was like an anaesthetic factor or anything like that, they later dated it and said, we think this could have been the cause of it. Because I was young, it was something like, for example, a novel like getting your back teeth out.
Yeah.
And there was an issue with it. Really interesting actually, that the person who was, I couldn't tell you who the dentist was. It was a local dentist at the time. And when mum and dad went back to have a chat about it and say like, this has happened, the dentist had gone. Gone gone abroad.
Was this a local dentist as well?
Yeah, it was a local dentist, yeah. But what was weird is, you don't really think about it. You think, oh, was it that? Could it have been emotional? Because we just moved house and stuff like that. But I was always a pretty sound child, always never really struggled making mates as a kid. As a kid, you don't really. But then about, I don't know, when I was like 2 or 3 years into high school, a teaching assistant, I remember called Mrs. Birchall, turned to me and she asked me this question, and I told her this story from what my mum and dad told me, and she said, she gave me the details of the dentist, where it was, when kind of it was, and she went, that dentist broke my husband's jaw.
Oh Jesus
Christ! Honestly, I'm not even kidding. And I was just thinking, oh, I've got to tell my mum this. So I was like, Mum, guess what? Yeah. So I told her, and it was a bit of a mad thing, and it kind of like maybe reinforced it a little bit. But it is what it is. End of the day, you live with it, you get on with it. Yeah. But like as a kid, it was tough because it wasn't like, I guess you could call it bullying, but kids are cruel anyway.
Yeah, of course. It's like any little thing, any insecurity,
anything
people just
different. Isn't it? Anything different still. So it is what it is. And then for high school, I had loads of mates. Like
of course.
Then obviously, our circle of friends, and everything was fine. You get the odd person. I mean, to put it into context, one of my worst bullies in high school was a dwarf.
Really?
A young lad.
I think I know who that is as well.
Yeah, it's exactly who you think it is. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So,
but that's mad, isn't it?
So what's crazy is back then I was like, oh. I was terrified of his two big mates, to be honest. They were that older, they were 2 or 3 years older than me, so these tall lads, and then this cruel lad, and he used to just anytime he saw me shout something.
Oh my
But then I look back in hindsight at his own insecurities. Obviously,
Yeah, of course.
He must have been tough. I'm sure he had his own experience, being potentially bullied for being a little bit different or looking.
That's his way of passing that on to someone.
That's it. So in hindsight, I look at it and think, never really looked at it like that. At the time, I just thought, why does this guy hate me so much? But kind of I got on with it. Never really struggled to make mates. Got upset at things that were worth getting upset about. So people would call your names. It's an easy target. But weirdly, my sister Holly. And you'll remember this, when we were younger, when she was 11 years old, she was diagnosed with cancer.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, she diagnosed with cancer. Yeah,
See, these are the things that I had like a feeling that was the case, but you never really had the conversation. And we're probably answering people's questions that that are actually quite closer than you think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's kind of...
It was a mad time for the family, like, because I'd, my mum and dad, like, I've got an incredible family, incredibly close family. It's a massive family. They're so lovely, and we've had such a lucky upbringing. And I guess I was just unlucky, to get alopecia, and a lot of people didn't know it. So I was completely no hair for like since I was 8 years old, and when Holly was 11, so I'd have been about 13. She had like just a lump here, just under her eye, and they went to hospital, and then within this period where they thought, oh, let's get it checked out, it came back, it was a tumour, and
Jesus,
it rocks the world, and you think you've got to, I look back and think, what, no one deserves it.
No, of course,
you think, oh God, you double whammy, you've 2 kids now, who, there's something life changing happening to them. So Holly went to chemo, and obviously when she went to chemotherapy and things like that, and she had her hair shaved off, obviously for to go through the treatment. And the weirdest thing is when the kids do that, they get a they can get a wig made, things like that.
Yeah.
And Holly just never wore it.
Yeah.
She just didn't care. Now bear in mind, this time I lived in a beanie.
Yeah.
-30 or 30 degrees Celsius. I was in a beanie, big bob hat.
Yeah,
I hated people
because I always used to remember that of you. Like I always used to remember you having your bob. Yeah. But I think that all the stuff that's happened, like going back to Holly when she got your mum and dad must be so strong to like get through that.
Yeah,
unbelievable. Because we never saw them like flustered. They were never flustered. They never rocked by obviously however they coped with it in their own time, but never in front of us, which was unbelievable. They're unbelievably strong people, both of them, and in different ways as much as they are the same. But when Holly handled, the obviously appearance factor, it was obvious there was something wrong. I was like, why have I got a bob hat on for? Like, and because obviously modern world and all that, but obviously you naturally think for a girl it might be a little bit tougher just because of the value of having hair, long hair, things like that, course, styling, and being a bit more appearance conscious with things like hair and makeup, whereas lads, we have short hair. Young lads have short hair, things like that. So Holly helped me massively by seeing her do it, and then it kind of like got me. I became a little bit more open with it, and things like that. Started to care a little bit less because I was healthy. I had no, I was perfectly healthy. Holly was going through this treatment at such a young age. Life changes. So it spurred me on to kind of like just go, you know what, mate, get on with it.
Of course.
You've got loads of mates. You don't get bullied anymore. You get the odd name call, like anything in any situation. Usually people don't know you.
Of course.
But it kind of like pushed me on to go, you know what, it's probably time to kind of kick on a little bit and stop kind of hiding in the,
like you say, it's probably made you a stronger person in terms of like your personality.
Massively. I mean,
like because I've never really like experienced bullying, so I can't really like relate to when someone has been bullied. Do you know what I mean?
It's weird. It's weird feeling like looking back at it. It's just upsetting. Like you don't look any deeper than what it is on the surface. You think that someone's just nasty. But then, like I talked about, like my high school bully. He had his own problems.
That's the thing, isn't it?
And I'd never looked at it because I was so. No, I wouldn't say I was selfish to think about me, because at the end of the day he was calling me names. I wasn't calling him anything. Yeah. But it opened up. I've always tried to like be a nice person, but naturally through having alopecia, I've never been massively, appearance confident, if that makes sense. Just not, because people don't notice it. To this day, I'll think someone's straight away looking at me being bald, because I still remember what it was like when I was 7.
Yeah, of
Everyone
course.
was looking. But it helped me push on in terms of personality. I look back and think, I'd like to think I'd be the same person. But you never know.
You never know.
You never know. You might think, would I have made as much of an effort pushing my personality onto people?
I think all these things happen for a reason. For us, and it's probably pushing you in that direction where, again, you're just like an inspirational figure. If you would, do you know what I mean? Like all the people at Fitbox, like you are an inspiration to them guys. It's more, massively.
It's more putting something there for people. Like I wouldn't say I'm inspiration. I mean, they find inspiration in what they find inspiration in. They might find inspiration in me, for whatever reason they do, whether it be because I put it there, therefore they find it inspiring that this place is for them like a safe haven, as much as it is as hard a working place than anywhere else in the fitness industry. But they find inspiration through the people that walk through the door, I like to think, as well.
Course,
like, I put it there for that reason, to initially probably inspire people, and then when you start seeing them kind of bounce off one another, and the coaches bounce off each other, and the coaches and their own individual kind of clientele and things like that, they bounce off one another.
Yeah, of course.
You start to see kind of like people inspiring people effortlessly without trying to. So once you put it there, it's kind of like that, the natural like build it and they will come kind of analogy. But for this, it's for the right reasons. It's for those people who want to get a little bit more than just what it is on the surface. Do you know
Definitely, what I mean? Yeah. No, it's because when I filmed at the Fitbox previously, I noticed something there that I've not seen in any other gyms. It was like not a weird community, but like there was such a close community that I've never seen before.
It's a massive mix, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing that I tried to capture on the video. It was like people of all different shapes and sizes, kind of like. Because people have this persona of gyms that you need to be a big meathead to go to the gym, well, it's not the case these days.
Of course not.
It's crazy. It's because we live in a world where everyone's so busy judging everyone else that they don't take a look in the mirror. And sometimes, and then at the same time, you've got people taking a look in the mirror that don't like what they see.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
it's a vicious cycle.
Even the big bodybuilders get that same thing where
it's body confidence and that they don't see what everyone else sees. You have a guy walk past you, you think he looks like two wardrobes, and you think, how much bigger do you want to be? And the guy might look at himself and go, there's always something. But the community at Fitbox is exactly what I wanted it to be, which was natural, effortless, and just real. So it is a bizarre community when you think about it, in a sense that there is such a wide mix, and yet it all works. And that's not down to any kind of, I wouldn't say template, or there's no franchise within it. There's nothing that's kind of like, we'll buy into that and then we'll push it on and sell it within the unit.
Yeah.
It's the coaches themselves find inspiration in their own kind of thoughts, and they put on the whiteboard, for example, and they'll go, this is what we're going to do because I think this is the right thing to do tonight, and these people will enjoy it as well as get everything they need to get out of it. And the people come in and they see that, and they go, no matter what's on there, no matter what we've been told to do, within some capacity I can do it. If I struggle with something, if I'm the fittest person in the room, I'm going to do it as the fittest person who should do it. But no one's intimidated and no one's holding anyone back. So, the coasts keep turning. And through it, everyone becomes very relaxed around one another. Yeah. And they see familiar faces by not making it an open place where thousands of people can just walk through the door. And we've got a no advertisement policy in the sense that we don't go putting ourselves in papers and things like that and going, come join today, no joining fee and things like that. There's no contract.
I don't think you need to though, by the looks of it.
Yeah. But this is it. We're putting no contracts there, not shackling people down. It's scary. It's terrifying. Every penny that started this, came from what I'd saved up and things like that. And so it was a massive gamble for me to go, would people stay?
Yeah.
Is it enough for me to be good at what I do? And is this, are these four walls important enough to people? But then through maybe like a little initial push from me, and then everyone else kind of made it what it is really, and kind of like built this ethos and like philosophy of all effort and no ego, good people working hard for good people. Yeah. It's not hard.
What made you go down that route of like making a gym like that rather than just like a numbers gym? Do you know, like a commercial gym that you're just a number?
No, because like numbers gyms are profitable. So from a business point of view, you can make a lot of money with, I wouldn't say little effort. Commercial gyms put a hell of a lot of effort in because their initial investment has to be a lot bigger. Where they go for bigger equipment, they need to have enough things that are just sitting to keep people occupied. It's like having, I don't know, like a nursery, I guess. You need to have thousands of toys for dozens of kids. Yeah. For a gym, there might be 3,000 members, but there might only be 50 people in the room at any point. You've never got enough.
Yeah,
You've never
got
enough stuff. So the reason I did, obviously I came from a background of a bit of sport, but initially I was at university studying law, like we were talking about before. So I was doing a law degree purely because, and I look back at it and I think, did I like law as a subject in college at the time? Yeah, I liked law. But then I'm thinking, I liked a lot of things that I never even thought I could go do as a job.
Yeah.
I could never do as a job. Might
Well,
want to be a barber.
that's another reason why I wanted to get you on there, because it's like we always say about breaking out your comfort zones, and that to you is probably a massive diversion of like say a path that you're on. Like the last guest that we had on was a lawyer.
Well,
He went
training
to be, and he went down a completely different path where you've done the same thing, and it's kind of like people who are always complaining, always negative about like the 9 to 5 that they're currently in. Like it's never too late to just take that jump,
Exactly,
but a lot of people are not willing to take the risk.
No, it's never too late. It's never too late. I mean, at this point, bear in mind, I'd committed to the law degree. I'd worked my butt off to get the grades to get into Manchester to study law. Studying law, 1 term. And I came away with something like an 81% on... You do exams quite early in law. Like you do like two specific exams where you have to do case studies and so on, a lot of reading. And I remember this guy sitting with me as I'm stopping, purely because I was not enjoying it. And he was like, I'm looking at your result. Why would you leave? You need 40% at the first year, and you're on an 80% after your 2 exams. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, that I revised hard for it. I wouldn't say, oh yeah, I was a natural, where's my white wig at? But like, I said to the guy,
is that the other reason why?
No, just so I could get one on me. I was like, they'll never know. They'll never know. But what it was a case of going, well. So I went to mum and dad and said, look, I need to be honest with you about it. I thought I'd really enjoy this, but thinking I'm about to do this for 3 years to do it for the rest of my life just doesn't feel right. My parents were unbelievably supportive. They always have been to us. They've been phenomenal role models, inspiring people.
You can see that though from like I've only met them a few times, but what you see on social media, like all the photos, like you're a proper tight knit family.
We are,
and that's all down to what's happened in the past.
Well, this is it.
And this is what I'm saying about things happening for a reason. It's not the best way of doing it, but it's a good thing.
No.
If you look at the end result.
We going through these things like this, what I went through, kind of pull people together, because you rally around people, and when it happened to Holly, it was a much more kind of scarier. It was scarier. It was upsetting for them what happened to me. It was scary, very scary.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And obviously for the whole family, and obviously she's fantastic, and she's now, 12 years cancer free now.
Oh, that's really
so it's incredible, and Holly is she's smashing life now.
No, yeah, she is.
And it never rocked her, never knocked her confidence or anything like that. She got up and went again, kind of thing. And then you look at my family now. We've always been tight, and possibly tighter for all these things, because you learn to appreciate. I think you learn to appreciate things, and you learn to appreciate other people's problems as well, because you think there's empathy. Like empathy is priceless. So someone experiences something, you think, I've had my own hard times. That helps me in my job massively. People come to me, sit in front of me, and go, talk about their appearance. Really, as a personal trainer, people are going, I look like this and I'd like to look like that. Very kind of again on the surface kind of stuff, and it gives me a lot of empathy, because I can go, I know what it's like to be a little bit uncomfortable with how you feel about your appearance, and you might think people are judging you, etc., etc. So it gives me a priceless string to my bow, where I can sit down in front of people and go, I get it, I get what it's like to feel a little bit uncomfortable, to not be happy with what you see in the mirror, and then I can push more from like a professional side and go, this is what we can do, and as like a life coach. But I mean, like I say, I look back at doing a law degree, and I think, would I be in law now? I mean, I know I stayed in touch with like a group of 4 people that were on my course with me. We all commuted to Manchester.
Yeah.
Not a single one of them went into law, but they all stayed for the full degree.
Was that the family though? Because again, I'm just using Jonah, a previous guest. Like in Malta, they all wanted to become like doctors, lawyers. Yeah. Was that like a family thing, or like a pride of the family, or is it just kind of what your interest was at the time?
It was my interest, and if I look back, I honestly didn't have a bloody clue.
Well, you don't tend to at that age, do you? I was the same, so yeah.
You just get pushed in. You get pushed in to make a decision. Yeah. There's never something that lies there. I did A-levels. I'm a personal trainer. with A-levels in religious studies, law and history 16th century. I don't sound like a guy who knows how to get someone fit, you know, on a CV, but CV count for nothing.
No, exactly.
They're worth as much as the paper they're written on. They really are. And but wind back 10 years ago, I used to think everything was as they said as the textbook. You need to have a strong piece of paper to take for it. And obviously some careers do. They are degree reliant. Cause I would never kind of like disrespect that, but I just knew it wasn't for me. And Mum and Dad they never pushed me into law, but I probably created this kind of bubble that's what I want to do, that's what I need to do, and they were only supporting me. So maybe at the time if I was like, oh, I'm scared to tell them, they probably never cared in the first place.
Yeah, of course.
They've always let us kind of spread our own wings, you know, from my family. So I've been very, very lucky. So when I went to them, initially they were like, oh God, are you sure you want to drop out of this? Because you've worked really hard to get it, and you don't sound like you know what you want to do. And I had no clue. So I joined an adult learning college in Lancashire, learning Spanish. No idea why. You know what I was going to do with that. I was like, you know what I want to do? I want to do that. Did loads of voluntary work, which is cool. Did there's like a place called Bolton Lads and Girls Club. It's like underprivileged youths and gives them like, it's like the Chorley incentive, the Chorley one now.
Yeah.
The Bolton were like, they were like the model that other towns built on. So I did that. Again, no, it's just to do stuff as well as there was a barman. And I was thinking, I've no idea what I'm doing.
That's the thing. It's kind of like just try a bit of everything, and then obviously because like that's what we're lucky with what we do. It's like if you were to ask me how many years ago about filming, it weren't a hobby of mine. It was kind of like when I was at college and I was very creative. The teachers don't really like see that you're a bit different to the other people, and they always put you on this one path to like university.
Easy.
And I know a lot of people who've been to university are struggling to get jobs in what they've been to university, and they've not got that same drive because it's like they've been in that bubble, if you would.
Yeah.
And the same with you though, Meg. Like for example, you dropped out of college.
I dropped out of college after 6 months because I was doing business studies, and it was that same thing. I left school and I was like, I actually don't know what like to do with myself. So I thought, right, business studies will kind of cover it all. I can go and work anywhere if I do it. But then 6 months in, I was like, there is no way I'm going to pass this first year because I just didn't enjoy doing it. So I went out and got an apprenticeship instead, doing pretty much the same thing but getting paid for it. And now I'm in the position that I'm in. It's worked out for the best. So you can't just follow this kind of stereotype of what I think now is a very old school mentality.
100%.
Yeah. It is, but yeah, it's still there. It still exists.
100%.
Yeah.
Like you say, you look at creativity and sometimes people fear it because they go, it's different. I look back, I remember a lad in school and I see him now, I won't say names, and I see him and he had a hard time at school. I was always dead nice to him because he never did any harm to me.
Yeah.
But he was a little bit different in the sense that he was always drawing, right? Mm-hmm. I'd never seen anything like it. What he could draw was he'd sketch, and he'd get told off for sketching, and I understood it because they were being in English class.
Exactly the same.
And he'd be drawing like he'd draw. I'm not kidding. Like I remember him drawing this dragon once, and I was like, "Oh my god, man, that is unbelievable!" It's actually, but he'd get told off for drawing. And I got it because he wasn't interested in English, and because of his age, he has to be. You know, you're in the classes. I totally understand that and appreciate that.
Yeah.
But then I see this guy now, and he just works in. I've seen him working in a sports shop. I've seen him working in another shop in Chorley Town Centre, just that behind a counter, right? And I look back at every kid in that class back then, and this little dark horse that no one really gave him a chance, and neither did the teachers really. If I'm being honest, they didn't. He probably had more talent than anyone in that room at that time. Before the mould came, before the straight and narrow was shown to us, because it was just kind of like that's not what you're supposed to be doing. But there's never that kind of, well, it might not be what you're supposed to be doing, but there should be something to actually say, well, actually, but we won't just quash that. Let's have a chat about that later.
Yeah, of
and
course,
maybe there's these figures that need to be, actually, you need to go see. So, for example, you'd say straight away, the responsibility of a professional to take the next generation forward. You'd go, well, he's obviously extremely talented at art. I'm going to go talk to the art teacher to have a sit-down chat with him. And say, you can't do that in other classes, but maybe there's something that they could do. Maybe they could, facilitate that raw talent at such a... I'm talking like 12 years old, by the way, 13 years old, where you're thinking,
well,
I couldn't draw a stick, man.
That's what I was like. The way through primary school and high school, like, all my English books were just drawings. I'd draw something, I think, right, I'll draw that back up in art.
Yeah.
But the thing is that annoyed me, because my biggest regret is that I wish I started earlier with this sort of creative stuff. But there was never, every time I asked people about it, like the teachers, they could never give me that answer, because all they know is that go to university and then what is. But it's like for example, when I was in school, I used to sell like cans and cookies when Jamie Oliver came in. Jamie Oliver
Bloody Jamie Oliver.
Yeah, he got rid of all health.
Childhood gone.
Yeah, he got rid of all junk food. But if you think about it this way, like Jamie Oliver came in, got rid of all junk food, and then there was me and Hazy and a few other people. We all used to sell cans and cookies at school. And if you think about it from like an entrepreneur, it's like there's a gap in the market.
I remember a mate of ours, Matty Turner. I remember him coming in, wangling chewing gum right. And I had to wait till Christmas to get a new skateboard. He bought himself one. I remember I went by him thinking, where have you got a new skateboard from? He went, and then I think he'd go down to the corner shop where he knew they were 50p for a bag of sweets, and he'd sell them for £1.
Yeah.
And yet, the tension, all the stuff taken off you.
Yeah.
And you think it's...
They should have seen that.
Entrepreneur in it.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, I mean, like I say, like, obviously, when I dropped out, I had no idea I would have had a passion for what I do now. But the passion wasn't necessarily probably fitness. It was, I actually gave one about people. I knew what it was like to be on the back end of things.
That's why I think you've done it. Because if you would have been a lawyer, you wouldn't have had the same job fulfillment.
No, what I hate, man.
And it's like, having your past, it's like, it's just helping. It's definitely helped. It puts things into perspective, doesn't
it? It kind of aligned my values for me, really. Not to sound like narcissistic, I'm good at what I do as a professional.
Yeah.
But I'm very good at what I do as a person. Like, I mean, man, I don't know why. I know everything about anyone that steps in that room who I've known longer than a couple of days. I know everything about them. I'm genuinely interested, because I know it could be the difference. Just one or two details could be the difference to how the rest of the year pans out. But like, I remember the moment I knew what I wanted to do, which initially was just, I want to be a personal trainer. Yeah. Which, man, there's thousands of us. And it's not I'm not gonna lie. I know if a personal trainer listens to this and disagrees, fair enough, but it's not hard. It's not hard to become a personal trainer. It's really not. It's steady. Loads of incentives, loads of free courses, loads of cheap courses, loads of expensive courses, 6-week track courses. Imagine you wanted to be a professional in anything, and someone says you can be one in 6 weeks. What kind of professional are you?
Yeah, of course.
Because what are they actually teaching you by the basic paperwork, where you're going into a 1-to-1 1v1 people to people, person to person kind of position, where you could be the be all or end all, So like, I remember being in a leisure centre, and I was watching these two PTs. I was absolutely whacking the gym at the time. I was 18 and not a lot to do, because I just dropped out of a university course doing law. So I was like, well, if I'm not going to be good at law, I'll be big. Yeah. I'll just try and train. And I was doing it for all the wrong reasons, really. But I remember looking at these two personal trainers, a lot older than me, and I was watching their, just kind of like how they stood in silence with this person. I remember one was like a middle-aged lady, and he was quite a young, maybe like late 20s, and no conversation pattern. And I remember, because he was just near me, I remember thinking, it doesn't look that hard. Yeah. So maybe, like, again, the wrong reason looking at it first, but also I remember, I'll never forget the reason. I thought, you know what, I could do that better. I could be a better people person, and that might just be enough. Yeah. And so I remember going home to tell my dad, and I was like, have you ever thought about this anyway? So I did an 18-month course, so a much longer course, almost like making up for that university time. Yeah. So I was in my 20s by the time I qualified. So I was like 20, 21 maybe when I qualified fully and all that jazz. And we just went doing homes, that responsibility of having to turn up. So like, for example, as a personal trainer, the responsibility is the client to turn up. A lot of personal trainers go straight to a gym, start paying a rent, start getting the pants pulled down a little bit by spending finance they haven't made yet. Yeah. Because gyms don't give you handouts. They don't. There's two main incentives that go by, which a lot of people in my industry, if they hear this, they'll go, yeah, I'm probably one of those too. If you don't own your own place, your rent is either paid to the gym and you have to find your own work. And they say, is 5% of every gym membership base. There's 5% are up for having PT. So if you have a team of 20 personal trainers and there's only 2,000 members, that is real cherry picking. That
yeah,
you've got to
definitely.
find people who might be paying a £20 a month gym membership, and you've got to convince them that you're worth £30 an hour. If you've got no people skills there, that first 5 minutes they know they're not going to train with you. This is what you see a lot. So I was like, right, well,
you need to separate yourself from that, don't you?
I was like, my dad really pushed me and said, why don't you got a couple of people that might be interested, why don't you go train for free, and in return they'll give you a little bit of recommendation. I thought, well, that's priceless, that. So the responsibility was then taken. I never had that initial kind of I'm waiting for people to come to me. I drove to house. I remember driving to West Orton. One of my first clients in Walkden. So it was me and my little Corsa doing trips with a stepper in the back and a pair of dumbbells from Argos.
I remember because I remember the first ever website I ever made was for you, and the first ever business card. And again, it's like it's interesting to see where both of us was then to where we are now, and it all comes down to work ethic and just putting the effort in.
I remember sitting in your bedroom doing it.
Years and years ago.
I think one of the main things we always say is you have to be proactive. If you want to stand out in the crowd, you can't just sit there and expect stuff to come to you. You have to go out there and get it yourself. And like you say,
keep talking. I'm just going to
change the cameras about. Like with us, we've done free work and stuff before in the past, and it's just you've kind of just got to do it sometimes. It's you're going to get some kind of like payback from it. If it's not cash value, then it's something else. So it's always worth doing it.
That's it. There's value in everything. I remember I did it. The first couple of clients, like free of charge, just travelling out, and then maybe charged like my petrol. Then charged a little bit more, and then by this time it was people telling me, remember, tell me when your price goes up. Not that I wasn't really chasing that millionaire dream at the time. I really wasn't. I wasn't going, oh God, how much am I making this week? Could I make enough to justify doing it as a job or even a part-time? I was a barman. I remember I'd go out like say 6 a.m, do a few clients, go do a bar shift at a local restaurant, and go do maybe a PT in the evening. And it was kind of like looking back at it at the time, I was like, gotta go drive 25 minutes to train someone for an hour, to drive 25-minute home for nothing but experience in my own essentially business. Looking back at that now, priceless, because I'll never appreciate sessions like I appreciate those, because those were they laid the foundations that obviously I wouldn't want to work for free all my life.
Exactly.
And if I'm going to do it, keep getting better and better, so the opportunity gets better and better. So then you start getting paid for it, then you start getting recommendations from it, then you start to build a business from it. And I did personal training for like, I don't know, maybe 2.5 years before an opportunity came to go, right, everything I'm doing here, I've got this ethic, I've got this thing, no matter where I go with it. I'm trying to do more than the average person, because I believe there's more to be taught. People would open up. You're in a one-to-one job. I mean,
you're more of a...
You're a counsellor.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a life coach. You're a life coach. You are taking that health and fitness aspect, but you are looking for mental value from it, like making these people more motivated, but positive, confident, happier.
I think that's what makes you more valuable as like a personal trainer, because I've seen personal trainers in the gym and they're not even speaking to each other. It's kind of like, right, 2 more reps. And then it's that you need to, like, because there's probably that many PTs about, it's probably diluted the market. So it's these people who separate themselves, and they even like the way they go about on social media as well. It's kind of... there's a lot of people faking it till they make it type of thing. There's a
million ways to do it. I mean, you look at Instagram now, and you look at these, these Insta models, these influencers.
We love it.
We hear that word.
I can't stand the word. Word.
Because they're not influencing.
For example, do I influence a better lifestyle change to people? Yes. Do I call myself an influencer? No. Call myself a coach. I wouldn't even call myself a role model. That's for other people to take. You don't
label yourself.
Label yourself. If someone wants to call you that, take the compliment. But I wouldn't. You shouldn't sit there and go, I'm an influencer. So you're actually stating that your actual position and job is to tell people what to do, and they have to do it. So you see a lot of these kind of like perfect looking individuals that are all started as personal trainers and things like that, and you know, they found a niche, they found a market. We were talking about it yesterday during a photo shoot, weren't we?
Yeah, of course,
during another business thing we were doing. But like, I look at it and I'm thinking, I get that must be your angle, fair enough, but what are you actually giving people here? I've seen people come to me with a piece of paper they spent hundreds of pounds on from an influencer, and I could have, honestly, if someone said this is what I want, it's the most basic level of things. It's straightforward. There's free content online that you don't have to pay for.
That's the thing.
Because these individuals say, I'll do it. So for example, I'll do
bloody
it.
dog.
For example, I'll do it, and they say like, right, well,
I'll tell you something. Keep going, just keep rolling. Keep rolling. It's only problem when you've got a fucking dog in there.
But like, you know, it's a case of like, I don't know, you find that these people have invested in, they don't even know what they're investing in. They think they're investing in the product this person has for them, without knowing if it's actually for them. But because if the person's an influencer, it must be it.
Exactly.
So it doesn't work right. So it doesn't work. It works for the wrong reasons, really, in my opinion.
It's not personalised enough, is it?
No, it's not personalised because if you
apologies for the technical issue. The milkman was coming around. He was like,
if you're an influencer, you have a responsibility to people, and that's forgotten. That's forgotten, like massively forgotten, because they believe that actually their job as an influencer is to stay popular, and that's not addressed enough.
Of course.
Thinking, your words, your measure, is it responsibility or is it popularity? And they push for popularity, and the people causing that are other influencers.
Of course.
And they don't know they're in a battle with the people. They can't wait to get on their own social media. Like, I'm training with this person, and you see that this influencer personal trainer training with this other influencer personal trainer, but they're influencing nothing. They're influencing nothing bar more likes, more ads, more sell, and for all they know, thousands of plans are going out to people who aren't wicked. But you know, you always can only see the thing
is,
ones.
that's the thing.
You see the success. You never see the background. But in someone like, for example, say what I do, you see failure on a daily basis. You face to people. You experience. You're in it with them. It matters to you because someone's taken the leap of faith to go, I want you to help me. Whether it be like, for example, Fitbox, where they come to like sessions and things like that, and myself or a team of coaches are there to help them or each other, and you can't fall short there. The ethic has to push them. Or if me one-to-one, people pay me money for this thing. So it's like, I don't know, if you pay money for any kind of service, if I went to a supermarket, put all my shopping on the till, and then I get to the till and I pay for it, and then there's another person bagging it at the end and putting it back on the shelf, you would go, what on earth are you doing? If you're as a professional and you do something for someone as a service, whether it be for free, if you promise that service, you don't deliver it. Obviously, in something like what I do, there is a responsibility on their end as well to do not what they're told, but to take the advice and do what they see fit with it. So they can't turn around and go, Nick, I've done nothing what you told me to do, but it's not worked. I'm like, well, shock,
of course,
shock, horror,
because you're not done anything.
shock, horror. So, but at the same time, it's on me to care about, am I delivering what I said I would deliver? If everyone's doing what they said they would promise, they're promising to do everything that I've said, and they're doing that.
It's a two-way thing, isn't it, with personal training?
Definitely.
But this is the thing. So like, we're in a market that's so saturated that a lot of professionals in my industry don't know where to look. They won't look at me. Some of them will. A lot of them do. It's probably unfair to say actually, but let's say I had a swap with an influencer with 1 million followers. They would see a lot more real life from me and the reality of being in this business than they would the influencer. Whereas people who've probably experienced look at me would look at the influencer and go, wow, that's lavish lifestyle.
Yeah,
that's
of course,
crazy. Because like Nick works 12, 15 hours a day. He's not driving a Ferrari.
Yeah.
And he's not got 20 gyms. And he's not got time to train 3 times a day and take topless photo shoots every week.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But then people will look at me and go, oh, well, this guy's like having to get up at 5 a.m.
I couldn't do what you're, because I'm like the complete opposite. I stay up till late, where we have this conversation last time. It's like a recurring theme. Like we're adamant that there's like 2 types of people. If you go back to like the Stone Age times, you've got your little campsite, you've got your morning people, and you've got your late. So Meg's a morning person. She gets up in the morning, she's like awake. That's where I'm just like, my brain's not functioning. But soon as that 11 at night comes about, I'm just like, I'm on it.
Yeah.
So I'm like up till 2-3 in the morning. So like when I see people get up at your daft o'clock in the morning, I'm like, yeah, fair play to you. But on the flip side, it's like
it comes down to what you put in at the end of the day. Like a lot of people, I hear this. It's almost a daily conversation. Like people go, I don't know how you do it. I'm like, well, I've got to. There's people relying on me too. Yeah. So that's my demand. So,
but it's also, you also enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. That is the biggest thing.
It is hard. It's never not going to be hard getting up unless you go on holiday. Getting up at 5 a.m, there's a taxi with your suitcase waiting outside for better times. But I'm passionate about what I do, and there's a lot of people in this industry that's why we get up, and why we turn up for people and give them the opportunity to like get it done on their time to suit them better, so that they can make it a lifestyle thing rather than just like a one-off thing. And you soon the expectancy of you, and so it doesn't become hard anymore. It just becomes
routine.
It's
routine. I think that's what my problem is. It's my routine at the moment. Like as soon as Meg goes to sleep at about, see, you're slowly coming into my sleep pattern now. Because when
you're turning her alarms on.
Meg used to go to sleep at like 10, and then as soon as Meg's away and she's like snoring her tripes off, I'm thinking, right, it's time to work. Because it's when I get no emails, I get no one mithering me. It's literally just me on my computer in my underpants, just sat there like typing away. Where I think, like you said, you got the flip side where I could not just get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go and train somebody. But again, I'm not passionate about it. I get people saying to me they don't understand how I'm sat there at 4 in the morning on my laptop, typing away and doing all the editing and stuff. So it's all about what you're passionate about. I think that's the main driver of it.
It is what you're passionate about and what you're willing to give to it.
Yeah, of course,
So you're saying, like you were saying before about that, me being like a market where is it getting saturated massively? But the problem is this contingency of kind of like saturation of young personal trainers, right? I get a lot of them email me, is anything going at Fitbox, and they don't realise that I'm not, I headhunt my trainers. I like to look for them, like who's right, who fits, because my team is trying to get on with one another. They're passionate individuals who aren't, they're there to make a living and a reputable profession for themselves, obviously, but they don't get, they're not up themselves in a sense where they're going, oh, I'm scared of every other person because they're potentially taking my clients. We kind of remove that environment. But a lot of these young personal trainers, they'll go do the gym side of it, and then they'll follow 20 fitness inspo accounts that have 1 million followers, that have got an unbelievable, they're on holiday all the time, training all the time. Think, that's where I want to get to.
That's what they want.
They're chasing a fake dream.
Some of these guys never did it. Some of these guys actually never did it. Like I was talking to a guy from Manchester. He's just on social media called Mark Ross. Really nice guy. And I've seen his Instagram, and he's got like thousands of followers. He does his thing, does this like kind of boot camp in Manchester, quite a popular kind of like scheme, really good. I didn't know much about him, and I met him. He told me his background story, and he's a guy that's done it and then moved on and back, and he's kind of like taking more of a natural change. There's an inspirational individual who has got a background story of it, but a lot of these people haven't. They just hit the market at the right time and got onto the whole train 3 times a day kind of thing, so they looked like they could get you the results. Sometimes you look at them and you go, whatever this person says must be true because he looks the part.
But he just found the secret sauce for himself.
So
there's different like I'd have to train differently to how Meg would train and eat. So it's like that's the difference between like a generic personal trainer who looks good but can't give that advice to everyone else. And it's like you say, what you tap into like the mental side of it, and like you're a counsellor at the end of the day.
That's it.
If you was to give any advice to any up and coming personal trainers that want to get into the industry, like what advice would it be now, knowing that what you know?
Knowing what I know now, because I spent a lot of time preaching maybe the wrong stuff that I thought was right for these similar reasons. But I would say to them, once they're qualified, don't follow the straight and narrow. Don't go, right, okay, now to get into a gym. Ask themselves, do they want to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Do they want to go work in a gym? There's more to life than that as a trainer.
Yeah.
If they're caught up at looking at these Instagram accounts, for example, then go do that.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to find that lifestyle doing it hands on. You're not. If you want to do it to help people, then go, right, what's my best option? So, for example, what everyone needs to know is you're not going to make money off the start. You're not, because there's always going to be something over your head. Either there's a rent or a percentage that the gym takes. So one of my best bits of advice is to look for the niche market. Like, look for the fit box. Look for look for the people that you think, actually, here seems a good person doing a good thing and good people involved. You know, it's getting the right hype for the right reasons, and go and explore that option.
Yeah.
So I know I said like a lot of trainers message me for it, but like it's because a lot of them message me. I go on their accounts and it's just full of topless pictures of themselves because they think that's the selling point. You're talking about self-conscious individuals who are looking to invest in a professional to tell them how to look better. They're not always going to go, oh, I'll go with whoever has the best six-pack. They're going to look for the individual that they can actually
relate to,
talk to, you know. There's a massive market of clientele over the age of 40. The majority of personal trainers are between the age of 18 and 25. What life empathy can they possibly have with these people, like life experiences? Like, so where are they gonna meet in the middle? Like you talk about seeing personal trainers not talking. My best advice for upcoming or new personal trainers is, so once they've qualified, have a look at themselves and actually say, have I got the right people skills to do this? I may know how to train, I may know how to diet and things like that. Have you got people skills? Because in our courses, we are not taught that.
Yeah.
I remember the only thing I learned about consultation was to keep either someone in the room or don't close the blinds, because of the modern world of someone could say something happened.
Seriously?
That was one of the only things in consultation. It was barely tapped that you are going to come across people are going to cry. I've sat around people and they've just broken down to tears because they're facing the demons. They're having to say it out loud.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And you've got to be there going, oh no.
Yeah.
This is awful. Or you can take ownership and say, don't worry, this is fine. We need to get past this.
That's the difference.
Let me take the reins for a minute here and try. Maybe I'll try and finish the sentence for you a little bit. Is this how you feel? And you've got to use these people skills. But a lot of young personal trainers, they're thrown into this world of going, right, do you want to get fit? Or do you want to change your life? Do you want to be happier? So how is that measurable? Was it ever measurable on how they looked? It might not be. It might just be they wanted some routine. They might have wanted someone to kind of like unload the burden onto, kind of, and say, right, here's how I'm feeling. And you can go, you know what? We're going to look to what you enjoy. Things like release of endorphins, like boxing, for example.
Yeah, of course,
I think I'd like boxing. But you might do it and find that they're actually venting, kind of releasing that energy. So a lot of these trainers, not that I'm any kind of guru, but from someone who's had the experience of doing home training, opening school halls, shutting school halls, opening my own place, running multiple places, and doing the online side as well, it's to work on the people skill side, because that will serve you long term with any and every situation.
Yeah, of course.
And you'll soon find that you'll stop. I used to follow every guru on Instagram.
You can imagine, yeah.
I'm thinking, this guy's got it sorted. I want that Ferrari and the 20 pairs of Nikes and this lifestyle to sit back and watch like a gym do its business. It's not realistic.
No,
it's
of
not
course,
realistic on a hard-working platform.
Well, that's interesting.
But by doing the people skill side, and empathy from my past and things like that, and actually giving one about people, making sure they want to be happy, that helped me massively.
The one thing that I've realised is, like, for personal trainers, if you've not settled this like solid foundation like you have, say if I'm just a personal trainer, I look good, I'm an alright personal trainer, but I've not built this foundation. What happens when I get older and the muscles start to fade?
So this is it.
And then a younger version of me comes up who's bigger than me, better than me. Like, it's that I worry about. And then if they've used all their life doing that, what's next?
So this is it. This is where you've got to put longevity in place. Like, you've got to put your foundation down, but then constantly building on it. So by doing, for example, for my own point, by doing Fitbox, setting up an ethos and looking after people, and like you say, looking after people of all shapes and sizes, all experience, all levels of fitness and ability, they don't look at me and go, they don't over analyze the difference between myself and maybe that individual. They don't go, well, I'm not as fit as Nick, so surely I cannot work with Nick, because that just kills every profession in the world if that's what you're striving for.
100%.
So you're saying, so this is the thing though, this is the problem with a lot of trainers. We have to be fit, obviously. We are our own selling point to a degree, because you maybe wouldn't go with an unfit personal trainer, but why shouldn't you? Because it's a life coach at the end of the day. There should be personal trainers over the age of 30, 40. There's no reason they can't be, because they still have the same background knowledge. They made us choose not to have the six pack. And you know, I'm not the biggest guy in the room most of the time. I'm a fit guy, because I enjoy fitness. You're an active well. So and that is why I am fit. I take pride. I think you should live a healthy lifestyle. I'll always promote that, but I would never say that everyone should strive for looking the best they can. They should strive for feeling the best they can and being happiest. But like you say, this will fade. It just does. You'll always stay fit, but fitness looks very different 5 years at a time.
Yeah, really of course, does.
And so that can't always be your selling point. So you need to make sure that you're setting down a ethic and philosophy that when people think of your name or your business or your brand, they go, that's what it's about. It's about, so when they think Fitbox is a healthy lifestyle for everyone, for anyone, taught by mixed individuals. Like I look at across the team of trainers, we're all very different. We're all very, very different. Do it in a different way. We live in a different way. You know, someone brought me and Ian some birthday cake this morning. Monday morning, 7 a.m. Birthday cake on the table. Like,
I bet you're loving it, wouldn't you?
Do you think we're not eating? So
it's all about mindset. Like,
mindset.
I think moving forward, I think it's going to be less about fitness, more about being like mindful. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it is. You've got to push that mentality, because at the end of the day, if you can't tap into someone's head, you're never going to address the body. If you give them a template and they after 6 weeks go absolutely different, it's completely different, fantastic, they'll find the next 6 weeks are the hardest they'll ever live, because they can't maintain that, because they never addressed the actual relationship with things like food, exercise and lifestyle. They were forced, the hardest 6 weeks I've done, but I'm looking the best I can. Why is it the hardest 6 weeks you've done? This 6 weeks is supposed to represent the rest of your life going forward. So you see people going, oh, this has been the hardest challenge I've done. Challenge. Straight away you put in a word, a title on it. It's a challenge. So it's something that's there to not be completed. You put a challenge in front of you, there are limitations to yourself. You are suggesting that you cannot complete this. So it's almost like, go on, try and do the 6 week. At the end of the 6 week, you're not going to do a challenge all your life.
Oh, 100%. That's the thing. It's changing the life, like, because there's a guy that I know, the Meal Prep King. He always says it's a lifestyle change, not a diet plan, because diet suggests it's going to end. That's what you need to kind of change. Is change the lifestyle, not just put them on a 6 week diet.
That's it, mate.
Challenge or whatever. Exactly. It's been. I mean, we're coming up to nearly an hour. It's gone fast that hour, hasn't it?
It's gone really fast.
We've only had one interruption this time, which is the dog. Every time we've done one of these podcasts, it's either my dad's bounded through the door, someone's knocked on the door, the dog started barking. We wanted to keep it like casual, because I feel that's when you get the best out of people.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been good, mate. It's been
I mean,
it's good. It's good to talk about it, because obviously you've been down to Fitboss and you've seen what it's about. It's nothing overly complicated.
Yeah, I just wanted to get like your story, obviously, and just offer a bit of value to people who are watching this. Whether they've got like their own insecurities and they kind of like put your life into perspective and think, I've got nothing to worry about. There's still like little things that people are worrying about. They've got.
Mate, honestly, the cards are always on the table. That's what people have got to remember. That at any point in your life, like you say, you could be into the deep end of something and wanting to change it. and for every day you spend going, I could be doing this, I could be doing that, I feel this way, therefore I won't be good at it. For every day you think that could be a day better spent doing
exactly,
it, and actually going, let's find out. And you find so many people will always say, like you said, wish I started it earlier, wish I'd done it earlier. I look back at college now and I think I was doing A-levels and things that have never really served me in what I do. Obviously at the time I didn't know what I wanted to do, but it's never too late to go. And there's whatever, if you ever have like a problem, like for example you talk about things like my alopecia, I'm not saying everything can be used to channel specifics, but everything has a positive angle at it where you can go, right, well I can either like be upset about it, or I can live with it, get on with it and see what it does for me. So I look back and I think I wouldn't be the kind of person I am, and I wouldn't be the business person I am, because having that bridge to empathise with people as a personal trainer who is fit and healthy, and maybe some people go, oh, how can I talk to someone who looks a lot fitter than me? When they sit down with me for 5 minutes, they realise you're a person that actually, this guy can really relate.
Yeah, of course.
There's something obviously there. I don't sit down and go, I had alopecia, by the way, there you go. But what I'll do is they'll see that just in your manner that you go in, I'm not scared to kind of,
yeah, I know what you mean.
Like everything's going to be okay. I can actually understand that where we're at here. Those people skills can be brought about through anything by just caring. That's it, just caring. So I agree with you completely. What you say, it's never too late for anyone to push on to anything they want to do. 100%.
Exactly.
No, I reckon a lot of people get value from this. What do you reckon, Meg?
I do.
You happy?
Yeah, I'm very happy.
Yeah, Meg's always like the one, if I end up saying something that she can say it better, she normally chips in and goes back. No, he means
what
this.
Trying to say.
Yeah. When you've got some numpty from the bottom end of Adelaide to try to speak, Meg needs to chip in and actually convert it to proper English.
Thanks for having me on it.
No, it's been good.
It's
been good.
Really good, yeah.
Right, so if you've enjoyed this episode of Put the Phone Down, make sure to like, subscribe, and all that jazz. Nick Jones, what's your Twitter? Well, Instagram handles, is it Nick Jones PT?
My Instagram is at Nick Jones PT, and then you can see at Fitbox as well. If you want to see what we're doing, anything I'm doing.
Fantastic. Right, it's been a pleasure, mate. It's been a legend having you on.
Yeah.
Megan, high five as usual, smashing it. Right, so we'll see you on the next one, and have a good day. There you go. The dog has to bark, and he's saying bye as well.